And as they sucked our wealth, folks, thank you for tuning in behind the woodshed to stop them. You know, I've been on the mining law a long time. Really had to turn up. You know, it was a cart going over the hill. We had to do a lot of work. People just didn't believe us telling them. And in fact, lots of them still don't. But there's been people watching. And even though the silence was deafening, there's a big deal going on around establishing a mining district. It's no joke. This is going to be a very big deal to do. I can suggest that we can't do more than what we can handle, and so there's a lot that we have to consider. The miners have yet to come together to discuss it. There's going to be a meeting next week. I put this in the archive last week on how to get there. Go to miningrights.org, miningrights.org for information. There's a PDF you can download. You can get in touch with the webmaster there. Lots of people from all over. Folks around the world, people are excited to hear about this. So, and I don't know how much of this broadcast contributes to that reach, but not knowing, I'm just astonished at the voice, how the internet can get the voice out, and how, in a way, how precious it is, and how timely it is that we can do all this. But before we get onto the mining district issue, we've got a couple of things that happens I want to explain to you here as we go on. It happens around what you start doing. But before that, remember, and as you see the price of gold going up now at almost, $1,800 an ounce, it's going to bounce. Don't worry about all that. What you're seeing is we flip those charts upside down, and you're seeing the value of your FRN. Well, I'm telling you to get out of it. But be careful. I wanted to point this out for people that are getting into mining. The mineral deposit, the mineral estate, to valuable mineral estates, valuable mineral deposits was granted to every American or every citizen of the United States as it was defined back in 1866, and it also, or those that made an intention to do so. That's available to every American, whatever the age, and certainly has nothing to do with ethnicity, religious belief, color. I don't care whatever race. You know, folks, I'm a racist. I eat chicken, and I dislike lawyers. You know, the Doubleday Dictionary for race, the example that they give for race is the race of lawyers. Think about what a race is, how simple it is. You can be a racist if you want to. That's why we don't even get into it. It's ridiculous. It's just a way to divide us. But what's something that eventually can divide us is the price of gold going so high, and all of a sudden we get kind of nuts. There's something called gold fever, and I don't know if I really have it. Really, ultimately, I've just been around it for a long time, and I don't know if I have the gold fever because my mind tells me mining's a business. You don't do it recreationally, and you don't do it part-time. Really, when you're supposed to, if you're doing it part-time and not making any money at it, you're committing a fraud. You have to go after it. But the price of the metal, and that's just not all of them. I mean not just one, but all of them. But gold is notorious. Although I've told you a long time ago, I found an article. I might bring it back out just to remind you. I didn't bring it out today. Remember when gold came out originally back in the 1700s or so, or 1800s? I can't remember the date. When it was first brought out, it had a value of $2,500 an ounce. So in some regard, I'm kind of chuckling about the price being so low, despite the fact that it's so high. And this is just a relational problem. But, folks, I just need to remind you, before you go tracking out, because the ads, here it is, as gold prices soar, dreamers grab their picks and pans. And, yes, that's what they did. Congress handed it over to the dreamers to go find those valuable mineral deposits because the Congress could not expend the amount of costs it was to go find those deposits. They just don't grow on trees. But you yourself can go find one. But I'm talking to you about this because I want to caution you on something. These properties that are valuable mineral deposits are private property, and they're owned by someone who has them located. There's still gold in our hills, from Reuters out of San Antonio, with the price of precious metals near $17.50 an ounce. A new generation of prospectors is heading into the hills with picks and pans, following the footsteps of American dreamers who hope to strike it rich. The higher the price goes, the more people come out of the woodwork, said Tom Pickens, part of the group that prospects for gold in the Llano River in central Texas. Those of you central to this broadcast station. More and more people are going to come. He added Pickens, and picks and shovels, I guess. Pickens and his fellow modern-day prospectors may not have the grizzled beards and floppy hats of the treasure seekers who explored California, the Dakotas, and Alaska in the 19th century, but those 49ers would recognize gold plans and water sluices still used to find the elusive metal. And it might be heavy on the elusive. Now, I can go on and read about all this, but folks, I want to just caution you. when you go out to look for gold and find your own place, your own deposit, there are rules. And we're talking about only the unappropriated lands, and I understand in Texas it might be slightly different, and also in Alaska it's slightly different. But before you go out and to strike it rich, make sure you go to the local land office that covers those lands that you're going to go read, and make sure that you're not trespassing on someone else's private claim. Make sure that you're going to claim up the place that's claimable. So for as much as I'm a proponent of go out and get it for yourself, that's the wealth, folks. That's what they're trying to steal from us. We all need to go out and do it. It's there for us to have, and they can't stop us. I also have to tell you, we have to be very careful not to trespass people, miners or prospectors. They're not prospectors once you have a claim, folks. You found it, and its discovery is presumed. So you have to be careful and not running over someone else's property. You wouldn't want someone coming into your kitchen and claiming your stove. I'm asking you to be careful as you go out and said anywhere, not just Texas, but just be careful. Look very carefully. It's all places are supposed to be monumented and supposed to have the notice of the filing. So look for that, and then do your due diligence before, and everything will be perfectly fine. And if you can, locate the places like associations that you can get involved. But, folks, we've been stepping up this thing in our local county. We've been doing it local. We've become vocal local, slightly different than William Roberts would talk about in his political side. Although this becomes political, folks, you will have a cause and effect. And as we move this mining district forward, we've been aided in the awareness by a commissioner in the county named Commissioner Casanelli. And because she stepped up, this is where it becomes the battle, folks. Someone has just filed a petition to recall her in Josephine County in Oregon. And I'm asking those of you that are local to that area, we need to have you all rally up. The chief petitioner, William Edward Burroughs, in a statement filed to the county clerk, cited grounds to recall unprofessional and harassing conduct towards citizens, public employees, and elected officials, and abdicating to an appointed committee the responsibility to fill in the office of county commissioner, close quote. I can only tell you, folks, that she's been the only one that's been actually stepping up. She's the only one that's been recognizing the miners' rights as a right and encouraging, absolutely encouraging the miners come together, step up, unite, and form a district. She is now under attack, and we find out this William Edward Burroughs may not be so truthful, and we're having to check into that because there's a crime for committing false statements, and I'm asking people to start looking into that. We can't do all the work ourselves. We're going to need help. Go into Josephine County, those of you that might be there, and look into the situation. Fulfill the fact and verify the fact of whether or not those statements are false or true. And if they're false, it's a crime. But this also, in the complaint, it states and talks about this So Ready. And remember, I told you, So Ready, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Job Council, he's supporting them when she did not support them when we found out they were trying to take down the county. And he's complaining about that. So he's a sympathizer to actually an illegal force of people, a conspiracy to take down the legitimate form of government. And this is what happens when you rise up. That's why I tell you, there's no solutions. You're going to find that there's an enemy around every corner waiting for his turn to step up. Now, I don't know, Mr. Edward Burroughs may have legitimate complaints. I don't know about all of them, but he had a lot of them. And I find it very interesting. Some of those I could identify were wrong. But this is what you're going to have to do. It's not just about the mining law anymore, folks. They want to come for your wealth, and this is how they're doing it. They're going to take out the commissioners that are in there trying to help you. Stay tuned.
This is the Oracle Broadcasting Radio Network. Visit us online at oraclebroadcasting.com.
With natural and man-made disasters and economic turmoil, if we don't get well prepared, we will most certainly regret it. Much of the storable food available is full of bad fats, salt, sugar, nutrient-poor refined food, and even MSG. In response, EnerHealth Botanicals have created our 40-day, 40-night, 100% organic preparedness pail. It's GMO-free, 10 to 20 year shelf life. The pail contains enough whole food and nutrition for one person to survive well for 40 days and nights, with recipes too. Some of the items need cooking, some can be eaten dry, while some can be soaked and sprouted. The pail includes organic rolled oats, millet, brown rice, green lentils, garbanzo beans, black beans, pinto beans, quinoa, pancake mix, non-fat powdered milk, sprout blend, sprouted sunflower seeds, organic food, chia seeds, miso powder, and a Cajun spice blend to give some flavor to your meals. This is 100% organic. This is the way to get prepared. Call today, 866-762-9238, or go to enerfood.com.
Introducing the world's first and only Swiss Gold Savings Plan, specifically designed to be simple and affordable for families worldwide. This is the best way to trade rapidly depreciating paper money for gold. Our product is 999.9% fine Kinnabar grade gold ingots, refined in weights as small as 1/2 gram and embedded into a protective card. Finally, everybody can afford to protect themselves with gold. And, best of all, you now have a zero-cost, zero-obligation, once-in-a-lifetime golden opportunity to earn true wealth by sharing this plan with others. Until now, available only to the Europeans, the program has just opened in the U.S. and Canada and is experiencing explosive growth. When you have everything to gain and nothing to lose, you owe it to yourself to at least check it out. For full details, please go to www.swissgoldbythegram.com or click on our banner ad on the oraclebroadcasting.com website. They say timing is everything, and your timing is perfect.
At hempusa.org, we offer chemical-free products to people around the world, detoxifying, self-healing, while rebuilding the immune system. We urge our listeners to please consider our largest-selling product, microplant powder. Our microplant powder is rich in silica and probiotics to help rebuild the immune system and to create a healthy stomach flora. Microplant powder is excellent for daily intake and is perfect to add to your storage shelter. We urge our listeners to please visit us at hempusa.org. And remember, all of our products are chemical-free and healthy to eat. We constantly strive to give you the best service, highest quality, and rapid shipping anywhere. And we offer free shipping on orders over $95 in the U.S. Please visit us at hempusa.org or call 908-691-2608. That's 908-691-2608. See what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you at hempusa.org.
And thank you for tuning in behind the woodshed, folks. It's pretty exciting at one level. I'm trying not to get too excited about this because I know it's a big deal. This is mining districts were really they were miners that came together to protect themselves, and we have a whole different view a need now. We didn't have the government itself negating and dishonoring its grant as we do today. So we have not just a miner's need to protect ourselves within a small area. We have a political problem that we need to address, for which a mining district is absolutely and well placed. And in particular, speaking to coordination, though that's not our only thing. So please stay tuned as you will, and as you find interest. We are taking some of the old information and we're trying to combine it with the new needs. And so this is going to be a work in progress, and we'll try and keep you apprised as we move along. Again, the association doesn't meet but every couple weeks, so we're still pulling it together. And I do appreciate and thank everybody who has sent in information, requests for information, to participate and give support or want to know more. Just be patient with us. We're doing our best. And this is on top of what we're already doing. And I can tell you, folks, I think I've been, with all that I've been doing, I'm reaching the wall, or have reached the wall. And it becomes problematic. But you got so much to do, so everyone needs to step up too. This is not just my idea. This is where all the miners have to decide for themselves and step up and take responsibility. So you're going to see United We Strike it happening in a slightly different way as we move this thing along. And SoCal Miner in the chat room makes a comment, made a question about wilderness areas. Well, the comment was don't go into the wilderness areas for claiming. I would have to concur only to this extent. Until you go to miningrights.org and read about the law and understand exactly what you're doing and exactly what goes on in an area that they've so-called withdrawn for wilderness, and you know exactly what's happening, I would be very, very cautious about entering into a wilderness area. I'm not telling you to not. I'm telling you that you're going to have to know, you have to understand how big the oppression is, how big the injustice is about the regular unappropriated lands, let alone going into a special designated area. One of the things that will happen in a mining district eventually, I identified 6 to 7 major issues that the government was violating against the people of the United States of America as they would be considered mineral estate grantees. Those 6 will be on the table within the mining district to work with. The mining district will have a seat at the table against the agencies to force them to come to terms with the fact of their violations. So this is very exciting at that level. It may help and aid other things. Like I tell you, we're in the courts with the miners. It's very difficult when the government and especially the judges, they either have no clue about this mining law, don't understand it, or they are absolutely integrated to try and defeat the property rights. And that's been the consistent answer. They're now saying in the courts that a miner has no rights to the property. They're actually denying that the Congress granted anything. And so believe me when I say when you want to go into wilderness areas, be very, 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 very careful. It'd be better to not try that unless you did some reading and got in touch with some people that knew more about how to do that. So enough on that. We're working toward a mining district. I would ask people to check in. If you don't have any information on those, check miningrights.org. I think they put a whole lot of stuff on the way webmasters put lots of stuff you can find about getting a familiarization with mining districts. There's not that much information available, so it takes a lot of research, but I think it'll be fruitful. And of those of you that are mineral estate grantees, and this only applies to mineral estate grantees because they were the only ones that had mining districts, your common mineral materials, forget it. They're not the same type of mineral. And this has been the big problem for the government the government commingles that with what we are and do, and the miners don't quite understand the distinction. So anyway, without belaboring all this, it's a big deal here, folks. I appreciate that you're tuning in to hear it. I appreciate that you're listening, that we can take this thing, the bull by the horn, so to speak, and we can bring some semblance of actual law. Even though the courts are denying it, we can bring it again. We are the law. The soil is the law of the land. And we come at it from a little different perspective here. And we don't have a question as to whether that's happening and whether that's possible because Congress acknowledged the miners' law and the mining districts. So fascinating stuff. As we look for alternatives, here they come to allow us to get back into the situation where we have to be self-reliant. And I've been telling you behind the woodshed, get out there and plant food, even if it's just a little bit, just to supplement. You're going to have to start getting healthier food. Why? Because if the nutrition that you're getting in all these new foods, or these foods that they're giving you, they call it's feed actually, not food. It's not going to be so good, and you're going to be going into health problems. They're going to guide you in to what makes pharma wealthy. So part of withdrawing is part of taking responsibility for your own health. I know for myself, I don't like going to the doctor anyway. I'll suffer quite a bit before I try to figure out if I have to go. So I'm already pretty much wired to withdraw from the system anyway. But I don't like feeling bad either. So I try to do what I can to augment what I can't produce for myself, what's produced for me with stuff I can do for myself. And you have to get in with people around you. That's part of how this works. So you got to maintain your health, because if you don't have your health, you really don't have a whole lot. It doesn't matter. You ain't going to have the energy to go. And folks, if you think going to mining is a fun day in the park, real mining isn't. There was a reason why they had a donkey, a bag of flour, and a bacon, and a hat, and a pan, and a shovel. That was it, folks. That's all you get. That's the kind of life it is. But you got to be very careful. Congress didn't develop the mineral estate for a reason. It has its own costs. And then today we have the political costs. We have a government that wants to impose nanny state on us. And miners have never been, they've always been independent. I've told you behind the woodshed many of the time, the system right now is afraid of the miner because they know how, as we were told by the Karuk fraud, miners are independent and fearsome. And miners just haven't been fearsome. We don't have to be ferocious as far as being vicious, but we do have to stand up and be ferocious on our rights and not back them off. And part of how we're going to do that, being independent, you're not buying into that system. You can't take an FRN. Your money is literally in the bank in a gold mine. Literally in the bank. A real bank. Not the one they invent. And so we don't have all the problems. If you're not going to be tied to this health care law, like